Hey guys, it is on screen, off screen, and we have a special episode where we are all together. As Josh decided to fly all the way here from Hawaii just for this. Like, he didn't come for any other reason.
Yeah,
He just really wanted to do a podcast in person. Not his family, nothing. We are doing a special episode this time where each one of us chose a topic for the other one to watch, and then we watched it and we're going to review it. I'm going to start with the one that I chose for Lauren. It's Your Lie in April. It's an anime. And the reason that I chose this was because I just love making Lauren cry. I'm just kidding. She talked about how much she likes crying. And so I was like, you know what would be perfect? Your Lie in April. It's the saddest, most wonderful thing I've maybe ever seen.
While we were discussing topics for each other, Colin and I asked Lauren, what are you in the mood for?
Yeah.
And then we asked,
What did I say?
Are you okay with anime? And she said, yes, I'm okay with anime. And she said, I would like something happy and uplifting. And I've got to say, both Colin and I failed in that objective.
I think Your Lie in April is half of that. It's uplifting. In some ways, kind of.
It makes you want to be a better person, but it itself is not a happy show.
Lauren, what do you think? Are there parts of this show that are a little happy? Parts? Like a scene?
Okay, if we're talking about a scene, it's probably at the very beginning because I did not finish this. I tried so hard. I tried really hard, but I just was not in the mood, and I wanted something happy and uplifting.
My soul.
I will try this series another time when I am in an anime mood, because I was in a wishy-washy anime mood.
Okay.
And then, like, I was feeling, like, more action and happy uplifting, and then I started watching this, and it was, like, a lot of inner monologuing, and I kept falling asleep, and I couldn't, like, I literally watched just something that, like, did the rundown of what the series was. So I could be like, yeah, I finished it. But then I was like, no, I won't lie. I didn't finish it. But I did like the scene where he, like, comes up on her playing with, like, the kids. I can't remember what her name is. But, yeah, I really liked that scene. And then I like how she liked music for, like, playing it, that she wasn't there for, like, the competition bit, but, like, what music does for her, I liked. But yeah, I could not stay awake and watch this show.
So let's break it down a little bit further. Right. What did you think of the animation of the show?
I think they had, like, some pretty bits, but it was kind of all over the place. Where you had, like, the blonde girl, they put so much attention into her hair, and it was great. And then they would have, like, the little Ghibli moments which I'm fine with, but yeah, I felt like it was a little bit all over the place, and you could tell that they did a lot of animation saving time where they would just, like, stand there sitting or talking, or, like, zoom in on the eyes and stuff a lot. Which is funny because that's what you get a lot of the times when you have an action anime.
Okay.
So that they can put a lot more time into, like, the fight scenes. And so I was wondering what they were spending all their time animating to do so many shortcuts.
That's interesting.
But I mean, like, I didn't think that it was too distracting. I mean, it was an anime, but I do think that it was, like, pretty. It was kind of very bright colored at first to then go dark a lot, which I thought was interesting, because they do say, like, when you're in love, everything seems brighter or whatever, or, like, more colorful. I can't remember exactly, but I thought that it would have started more monochromatic and then got more colorful, but instead it like was the reverse. And so I was like, maybe I'm not catching on what they're trying to do with that, but yeah. Anyway, I think it was.
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think about any of that.
I didn't either. Knowing the entire plot and all of the details and her pointing it out, it actually makes sense to me.
Me too, actually.
Um,
That's one of the things I thought was interesting.
But when she was talking, when you were first talking about it, how it like should have been getting brighter, and I was like, oh no, that would have been really cool. And then you pointed out that it was getting darker, and I was like, oh no, they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like that was very good.
I will try this series again when I'm in an anime.
It truly is like fantastic. It's my favorite anime
Okay.
of all time.
What did you think of the music?
I know you guys like added music onto your playlists because of this show. And I was sitting there and I was like, why?
Okay, I'm just gonna move past that because that's just the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Like, I've always liked classical music, but I don't understand why this anime made you.
I didn't like classical music,
And then this made you like
and
it.
this gave me a big appreciation for it.
Oh, I guess since same
I
for you.
did like classical music. I played piano when I was younger. This made me like classical music better. I usually didn't like listen to classical music, but I appreciated it. I listen to it like actively now because of this anime.
Oh, because I
guess
listen
that's
to
fair.
like classical music and stuff when I read.
Oh,
So I was like, yeah, I've always liked classical music. So I didn't know if, that was.
That's fair. To say you appreciated classical music but didn't really listen to it is probably the same thing for me. Because, like, I didn't hate classical music. It's not like mumble rap. It's just, like, garbage. It's like when you do music theory, like, everything stems off of classical music. And it's like, I'd rather listen to the music I actually like than the instrumental stuff. But, yeah, I don't actively listen to it all the time anymore. But after watching this anime, I watched it a whole bunch. So you said there's a bunch of inner monologue, not your favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was the dialogue and the writing at least good if the inner monologue part of it wasn't your favorite?
Because like they were monologuing across the music all the time. I'm like, shut up and let me listen to the music. I feel like they just over-explained everything to you and they didn't leave anything up to interpretation. And so I was...
Would that have bugged you less if you were in more of an anime mood? Because I feel like that's just an anime trope.
I think I would have... Yeah, I don't think it would have bothered me as much.
Okay.
But yeah, it's... Yeah. I'm gonna have to try to watch it again. Yeah, I tried really hard, but this was not the week for me to try to watch it.
That's on me, guys. I failed. Apparently, I should have gotten like My Little Pony instead of something that's a masterpiece of work of art.
I would have just ate up My Little Pony.
No,
I was putting on all of the clues of horses last week.
I know. Ridiculous. So, guys, I had this rant about horse girls that I did before. So they put horses in the back and they made everything. All of Lauren's topics were horses. And during our last week, I was like, there's a lot of horse stuff going on. Why is there so many horses?
We had horse
I didn't get it. They had a stupid shirt on. And she had a pretty good shirt that still had horses.
So, Lauren, you said you wanted to rewatch it.
Yeah.
How high on your on your list is it to be rewatched? Or is this like, if I'm in an anime mood and don't really have anything else? Or is this like when I'm in an anime mood, I'm ready to crush it?
It's when I'm in an anime mood. Okay. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it still be there if both of us hadn't recommended it so highly? Like, just based on what you've seen.
Like, before this? Or like...
So, like, you've watched what you've watched. If you took us out of it completely, our recommendations out of it, just based on what you've watched, would you be this gung-ho about going and watching it?
Probably not.
Okay. So with that being said, with what you've seen so far and what you know about what you haven't seen so far, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say 6 because it's not something that like I'm dreading to go watch. It just felt like too much of a chore this week. But if we're doing our whole thing of would I rather watch Black Panther or this, I would watch Your Light, April. So.
It's so painful. It's painful.
I actually think that's fair. I can see that perspective. Like, I love it, but I don't see it as a masterpiece. Because everything she said that's critical of it, like the animation being very hit and miss, like it was a small studio, and it's not like they were doing action scenes. So there's that part of it. There's like his trauma can be very like hard to deal with. It was very hard for me to deal with, but like, could it be too hard for somebody to watch, or
Absolutely.
something so specific that somebody can't connect to at all? Like, I'm not mad at her picking a 6 out of 10. Like, I do believe anybody should give it a higher than 5 out of 10 because it's clearly better than Black Panther. But it's a show to me that's going to work for you or not. And like, it really worked for you, and it did pretty well work for me. And it's not really working for Lauren, but even she's like 6 out of 10. So.
Yeah.
I am interested in what you think when you get to the
You're like, when you actually watch it.
Follow up podcast whenever she watches.
Book your calendars 6 years from now, 2 months and 3 days.
Yeah, I finally finished that thing you told me to watch.
Finally.
All right, Lauren, go ahead and
Alright.
introduce one of yours.
Okay, so I asked Josh to watch Princess Mononoke. I picked this one because I feel like out of all of Studio Ghibli, I know, what is it that you call
Ghibli, because it
Ghibli?
makes more sense. It sounds like an actual word.
Okay, I'm pretty
And
sure
I don't think of Ghibli!
I've always thought it was Ghibli.
I think it's Ghibli.
Yeah.
Tell us if we're wrong. But I've heard it both ways. I think it's one that I thought Josh might connect with better of like the Ghibli. But
Have you seen any of the Ghibli?
I've
things?
seen, I don't know if these ones are Ghibli, so Your Name I saw, Weathering with You I saw, Howl's Moving Castle I saw, and one other one, and then this one.
so you watched The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
There's like Ponyo,
Haven't seen
Your
that.
Neighbor Totoro,
Haven't seen
Spirited Away,
that. Haven't seen that.
Castle in the Sky.
Haven't seen that.
Oh, there's like another one.
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
Delivery
So I
service,
have
one of my favorites.
a little bit of experience with it, but not a ton.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
mine-
one's very different than
Yeah.
all of their others.
So I thought that he might like Princess Mononoke.
What do you
Did
think?
you?
Well, with my experience with Studio Ghibli, I will have to say this. The first time I watched Howl's Moving Castle, I thought it was so boring and stupid. Like, one of the worst
It's the-
shows I've ever seen.
Only one I don't like of Ghibli. Of what I've seen of Ghibli, it's the only one I don't like.
I literally have Howl's Moving Castle.
Upon rewatch, you start to notice a lot more details, and it does make it significantly better. It's still not like a show I would rewatch all of the time or would generally put on myself, but it did, like, for me, that's one of the biggest switches, because I was like, this sucks, this is garbage show. And then I was forced to rewatch it, and I was like, okay, it's not that bad. I have a very similar experience with Dark Knight Rises. First time I saw it, I was like, this is the worst superhero movie I've ever seen in my life. This sucks. It's the worst thing ever. Rewatching it, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. It's still not my favorite. I still wouldn't call it good, but it's a lot better than I gave it credit for. Princess Mononoke is I would have to rewatch it to really fully enjoy it. Um, there are things that I really like. I really like that he's trying to be this person in the middle who's trying to say they're not necessarily bad, they just have their own thing going on, and the nature, and they're not necessarily bad either. They've got their own thing, and we can work cohesively, except the people in town very clearly are just bad. Like, if you take away her one redeeming quality in buying out the contracts of the concubines from all the nearby towns and saving them and empowering them and training them to be more than just selling their bodies, right? That is the only good thing she does in the entire movie. And it's not something she actually does in the movie. It's something that they say she does. Like, when push comes to shove, she abandons them. She treats them like crap. She's holier than thou. She's on this crusade for no real apparent reason to me, other than to say she did it. And in doing so, she literally loses her city, sacrificing them for this cause, right? And then she accomplishes that cause. And the show just turned really weird for me. Like, I did not like it, the forest spirit turning into this giant blob and killing everything and all that kind of stuff. It did not work for me. There are some really cool moments. I really liked the romance in it. I really loved that she was losing her crap on the main guy, and he was just like, "You're really pretty," and she was like, "What?" And she just got really flustered at it, and I'm like, that is such a like genuine like something somebody has actually experienced and put that on screen, and I absolutely love it. But for the overarching story, I didn't absolutely love it. There are some really slow parts. The samurai just seemed to be like petty little shits, and like me as a history person, I'm like, they weren't that way. Like honor was their big thing.
As
So
deep history with the blob.
well, I mean, like I know it's not history, but they're using something from history. It would be like having a priest and taking it in and being like completely flipping it. He's not for anything that priests stand for or anything like that. So
yeah. When I picked this show for you, it was mostly because I thought that you would really like the main character. And there's like the one scene where she stabs him and he just hugs her instead of like retaliating. That, I don't know, when I thought of that, I was like, I think Josh needs to watch this show. But
yeah, I didn't really love him too much. He's very clearly just like a people pleaser to 1,000. Like he doesn't stand on any kind of principles or honor. He is just trying to be like, we can all have what we want. We just need to stop fighting. And he just is on this crusade. And even when, like, I feel like he should say, like, no, nature's clearly in the right here. You're just being a douchebag to be a douchebag. Like, maybe he should stand on that. And at the end, when she's like, I know you need to go back to the city. I was like, why does he need to go back to the city? He's not from that city. That hoe bag started that city. He has nothing to do with that city. Why can't he live with the girl he loves and visit said city when he wants to see all the cool concubine girls who were really funny throughout the show?
it's funny because I saw this show as more of him trying to get like the iron workers, like he realized, oh yeah, they're like people that want to live too, but like you need to not be taking out the forest. Like you need to figure out how to live with the forest, not be like, hey, Forrest, it's okay that they're burning you a little bit. Like, we can have them burn you a little bit. So, like, no, I think it was more of him trying to be like, no, you guys need to respect the forest and be into that. And the reason why he went back to the humans was to be that person who connects them back with nature, is what I thought that was. But
Yeah, no, there has to be some deforestation because otherwise they wouldn't have places to live or be able to mine or anything.
well, that's so a lot of Miyazaki, who directs Studio Ghibli, he throughout all of his works, you'll notice how it's man versus nature, and like all of his stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, and it's usually pretty heavy-handed, where he's like, "No, we're definitely ruining everything." But yeah, I feel like this was one of his most clear, except for like, oh, it's like something wind, which is another one that's has like a whole bunch of those like pill bug things in it. Do you know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
can't
talking
remember
about?
what that was.
Yeah, that one and Princess Mononoke, I feel like are the very clear, like, we're taking over the forest and they're retaliating. Like, nature will retaliate.
Well, yeah. My point is, he's trying to say, let's compromise, not leave the forest completely alone.
Yeah.
Because he goes back to the forest, the wolves, and he's like, well, they've got somewhere, they have to live somewhere, and they have to survive somewhere. Like, he's really flip-flopping and not standing on a principle. He's just like,
Yeah.
we both need to compromise here, you know, we need everybody to be okay and not take everything so personally and stuff. But the message of the movie is very clearly humans are bad and destroying the.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not, doesn't stand on its precepts.
That
The movie it does. The movie has the moral.
But
the character himself is not a morally gray character, which I generally love, who is actually seeing both sides. He just seems like a people pleaser to me. He's like, when he's with the humans, he's like, yeah, you guys are right. Like, you need to be able to mine and defend yourselves and this, that, and the other.
No,
and then he goes to the forest people. He's like, no, you guys are right. They're doing too much. And he never goes to the other side and is like, this is their side.
He's not the broker. He's the, I agree with you and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Let me hang out with you.
Yeah, like, stop killing each other, right? He's willing to be like, hey, don't kill Princess Mononoke. But he's not willing to say, hey, Princess Mononoke, have you thought that maybe they need a place to live too? You know? So, like, the movie has the principle that you guys are talking about of, like, it's overexpanding, it's going too far, nature's going to fight back, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely there. It's very heavy-handed. It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's just him as a character. I don't see any, like, principles or values. He's just a guy who got a power and kind of got swept up into this and didn't want to pick a side.
That's fair.
So,
all right, Josh. Well, what did you pick for me?
okay, so for Conlon, he's a very big fan of solo leveling. He's a very big fan of Dungeon Crawler Carl. He's a very big fan of
Primal Hunter.
Primal Hunter, that's the one I was trying to think of. These shows where these characters are trying to just push and push and push themselves and get more and more powerful and all these things. And solo leveling does that better than, like, most shows and most TV, like, even including non-anime. It does it better than any superhero thing I've seen. Like, that's pretty much the entire plot. I just gave you the entire plot of solo leveling.
Yeah, badass.
And in searching for something similar, I know this isn't to that level. I hope I made that clear to Conlon that, like, this is not as good as solo leveling. This is just the next best thing I found. So I picked Eminence and Shadow. It's a High Dive exclusive, which is so stupid because everything should just be on Crunchyroll.
It should.
Because I think Eminence is the thing that's holding High Dive up. I don't know if anything else popular that is exclusively on High Dive. So just die, high dive, Crunchyroll, buy up the show. I genuinely really love this show.
I think it would be a lot bigger if it was on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, because people would be able to access it and watch it. So this is something that came to my attention a long time ago, and I realized High Dive was $40 a year, so I was like, I'll pay $40 to check out this show. It looks really cool, and maybe I'll see some other stuff. I haven't watched anything else on High Dive, so that was a big giant waste of investment. But I still really loved the show. Conlon, what'd you think of at least the first season?
So I actually really liked it. I think it has problems, but I really like it. The main character I do think is really good. They do this thing with a lot of animes and lit RPGs where they have like a harem and all the girls are obsessed with the guy. And I don't really like that, and that is in this book, but it's not horrible. Like there's some where it's like instantly she sees the guy, I'm in love with you, master. I will be yours forever. And it is so cringy as hell. This one isn't to that extreme. Basically, it's like main character does something super cool. Girl falls in love with him. Main character does something super cool. Girl falls in love with him. And then he has his like group of girl assassins that are his main, what do you call it? Group, main organization that does everything that he needs. And he is somebody who wants to be like a side character. That's like how he's trying to act. And he does these really, really funny things where he practices side character moves because he's so OP. And there's one part where he goes to a tournament and he's practiced 43 moves that a side character would do, where he like gets hit and it wouldn't scratch him at all, but he decides to do a flip and land on his face because he's a side character. And it is absolutely hilarious. Like really, really, really good. The choreography, the fight scenes of the anime is really well done. There are different levels of the fight scenes. Like some of them are better than others, but some of them just smack so hard. They're so well done. The world is interesting. I like exploring the world. The side characters have enough personality that you just aren't annoyed by them, which is really good in a show like this. A lot of times these harem type shows where there's a bunch of girls who are just in love with the guy, the girls are literally like their whole personality is I love main character. And this one, a lot of the girls, most of them, have more than that. Unfortunately, my favorite side character, the scientist girl, is not really in it for that long for season one, but she is really interesting. She's more developed. I like her backstory. I like the fact that she connects to the overall plot in an interesting way. If you watch the show, it's an interesting twist. Overall, I thought it was a good show. My negatives are the girl thing, and the fact that there are some episodes that feel unorganized. So there are literally moments in the show where I was like, what the hell is happening? What? I'm paying attention. I'm not playing something else. I'm literally watching this, and I don't know why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. But there's small little segments. There's like half an episode where I'm like, what is going on? These are 20 minutes long. It's 10 minutes. And then it gets back to a story that I recognize, and why it had that 10 minutes, I have no friggin' idea. Overall, good show. Glad I watched it.
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would rate this show, if you got rid of those parts where I'm like, what is going on? I would probably have given it like just under an 8. With those parts, I'd probably give it a 7.
Okay.
Still glad I watched it.
Good.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next one. Dark for Josh. The reason that I picked Dark is because I think it's freaking awesome, and I honestly wanted to know what Josh would think. It's a sci-fi, cool concept, cool ideas kind of a show that I think is brilliant. When they first tried to get Netflix to produce for them, they came out with a full 3-season plan. And this show deals with a lot of time travel, a lot of dates, and they literally aligned the dates that they could with the dates of the release on Netflix, which I think is so cool. They planned out this show meticulously, and I think it's brilliant. But Josh is not as big a fan of time travel as I am. I like the concept even when it's done badly. And I was interested in his point of view for a show that I think is brilliant. What do you think, Josh?
Well, the thing he's not mentioning is it's all in German.
Yes.
And the translations are usually pretty bad. They put
rough.
zero effort into making the dialogue make sense in English.
I just thought the voiceover was bad. You thought the translation was also
They very
bad.
clearly just put it in Google Translate and said, say this. Like, I'm going to pull out my phone. Excuse me. I even made a note of one. Maybe he didn't run away. Maybe he's trapped. Can't get out. Why would somebody do that? And that was delivered exactly like I just delivered it. I am not like an actor. I just read the line. And that's how it was delivered. And that line was stupid. Was very clearly a little bit off. The character who was saying it would not think that way. He's basically this kid who's totally innocent, who, all these kids are going missing.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody's like, he's fine, he's basically here, right? And he thinks, he goes straight to, what if he's trapped? What if he's kidnapped? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you don't have the critical thinking skills to go that far with this. And there were a number of times the translation was genuinely just bad. Like, genuinely felt like they just took the German, put it in Google Translate, and had the actors read the lines.
I was gonna say, is this also where, like, because I feel like when I watched it, what they were saying did not match up with the...
I wasn't watching the subtitles.
It doesn't match up perfectly quite often. Like, you get it's the same general idea, but
yeah,
the words are better.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because I remember I watched it with subtitles, and I remember, like, reading it, and I'm like, that's not what they're saying. Like, exactly, but yeah, it was the same message, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't watch it with subtitles, so I can't speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching it with the English thing. Colin gave me a heads up. He was like, hey, it's German. Does the English voice over the German speaking bother you? To me, that generally depends. It didn't bother me in this movie or in the show. What I do have to say is this is Stranger Things for teenagers. Okay. It is like, hey, we like Stranger Things is really popular. Sci-fi based around kids. We just want to do it a little bit more mature, so that, like, when you're in middle school, you'll watch Stranger Things, and then when you get to high school, you'll watch Dark. I'm not a fan of Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things sucks. Other than season 1, I think it's genuinely really, really bad, and this one is worse. I absolutely could not stand the show. I was bored out of my mind with the plot. They were jumping around all over the place. I didn't see any kind of structure or meticulous planning. It was more like, we have to get this on screen. Now this on screen. Now this on screen. Now this on screen. And I could not stand it. For me, this is a 2 out of 10 show that I will never watch again.
I'm sorry, Josh. Lauren didn't like it either. I don't get it.
I was like, for different reasons, though, because I did like the first season of, like, all of the mystery and, like, trying to figure it out, and, like, I did like the time travel. Oh, wait, yeah, I had it mixed up with another show for a second, but yeah, the time travel thing. I did not like the love interest. It's weird. I didn't like he was gambling everything for that. And it was I did not like that was... If they would have taken that out, if they would have just redone the last season, and, like, I would have felt a lot better about it. show. But
So, guys, it looks like I'm on an island because I love this show. I love this show so much. I think I do see all the planning. It does come together. I think it's so rare that you see a show that's actually like, this is going to be our story. We're sticking to this story. We're doing the story, and then we're done. And
Okay, so how many times has that worked out?
Where they just plan a story and they do it? I mean, they almost never do it.
Yeah, why? Because How I Met Your Mother, I'm a fan of the end, but How I Met Your Mother did that. He is saying it's a pro, but he will say in How I Met Your Mother it's a con.
Here's the thing. With How I Met Your Mother, it went way farther than they were ever planning. So they have more story that gets developed than they were originally planning to happen. So I think you can adjust the ending. Like if they would have been like, you know what, we're having these 3 seasons. We have, or even 5. These 5 seasons, this is exactly where we want to go with the story. Boom, boom, boom.
They shortened How I Met Your Mother. They didn't extend it.
What are you talking about?
They shortened it from 10 seasons.
They didn't have that originally planned. They were
Yes, they
thinking,
did.
no, they did
Yes,
not. They thought they wouldn't even get more than 1 season.
They didn't think they would get more than 1 season, but their ideal plan was always 10 seasons.
I don't know how much they had that planned out. I will look more into it because I don't know if I believe that. Anyway, I think this show is really, really well done. But I don't know how many other shows really got a full planned out. This is exactly where we want to go with the story.
Tons of animes.
I was gonna say
Tons of animes. Avatar is a great one. Although Avatar was shortened, it was supposed to be 4 seasons.
That makes sense.
Actually, it would have been worse with 4 seasons than they had planned. I think I got lucky on that.
Don't know.
But anyway, I think it worked out for this one, but obviously these guys completely disagree with me.
I think that if you like Stranger Things, I think it's the natural next step.
It's where I don't like Stranger Things, but I really like this show.
It's completely jumbled, jargon, scenes all over the place. Did not connect with me. I was utterly bored.
Like, I feel... spoiler alert. If it wasn't his freaking aunt, or like whatever, I would have been fine. But since it was his freaking aunt,
There's the aunt. There's also the girl that sleeps with her. It's like boyfriend's dad.
Yeah. It's like when you get it all messy like that, I was like, no.
It gets very, very, very messy. But
I didn't have a problem with the time travel. I like time travel stuff. I just don't like when they give you an explanation for time travel and then backtrack on it endgame, or give you a overly complicated thing to follow that they just, through the nature of storytelling, absolutely betray. Like, Tomorrowland is excellent. It makes complete sense. There are 2 rafts on a river going down at the same time. You cannot speed up or slow down the rafts. That's all they say. Perfect. I understand how that time travel works. Back to the Future. I understand how that time travel works. Most shows where they do time travel, they either over-explain, and it's crap, or give you an explanation and then betray that explanation. And that's why I generally don't like it, is because just don't give an explanation.
you
and
like
it would be better. Yeah.
Wow.
If they were just like, we have time travel. We're doing it. Yep. And they can sit there and they can hypothesize, and the characters can be like, what if there's an alternate timeline? And then somebody argues back and it's like, that would create a paradox, so that's probably not going to happen. Great. But like having like a science guy be like, this is how it works.
So this is so off topic, but you've seen some Doctor Who do like their explanation for time travel?
Their explanation for is it's kind of magical, and he's the only one who can kind of really do it.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, and like set.
Yeah, I love
things.
that. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Doctor Who is a great example of just doing time travel and not explaining it, because it's not really that important to your plot other than that it's happening. So
Lauren threatened me to make me watch all of Doctor Who for this. I've tried Doctor Who, I don't know, like 47 times, and I just don't. I don't get it.
Did you start with, where did you start?
So I started season 1 multiple different times, and they
Okay.
were like, "You should skip ahead to season 2." So I did that. It was like, "You should skip ahead to, I think it was season 5."
Yeah, with Matt.
Yeah, I think it's 5. And then I tried that, and I was like, I like all this nerdy, geeky stuff, and this thing is huge, and I don't get it.
It's funny because I feel like Doctor Who, it's either like a lot of people like try to watch it and then like someday you find like your favorite episode and it clicks and then all of a sudden you're watching all of it.
Maybe
It's
that's
The
what
hard
they do.
thing with Doctor Who is there's a ton of filler, and the main plot is really a subplot that overarches the episodes. It's really about his relationship with his companion, which is a subplot to every episode, but is the only plot that carries over multiple episodes, other than the few specials where they do for multiple.
Yeah.
runs.
I feel like that's true for David Tennant. And then there's you haven't seen much of Matt Smith, have you?
I've seen a lot of Matt Smith.
Okay, because I feel like there is more of an overarching with Matt Smith's versus like with David Tennant's.
I feel like it's just the nature of Doctor Who. Like, yeah, they do better, but it's still just like
Because like
kinda
there's
that
like
way.
a crack that
Yeah.
they deal with like Matt Smith. I guess that's what. Yeah, it's more of a subplot.
Yeah, it's more
yeah, you're right.
We're still going to all these different timelines and doing this kind of thing, but this other thing is kind of like going on. So it's better than the David Tennant, but I still think David Tennant's just a better Doctor. So
Yeah.
How much do you like Doctor Who?
When I was in high school, I really liked it. But I also thought that I was very niche for it because I was in a small little tiny town and I was the only person who watched it. And so it was kind of like my own little thing. And then I've seen how much other people love it, and I am not other people.
Okay, you're not that level.
No.
Like, you wouldn't put a phone booth right here.
No, I do I think it's fun and cool what people do who do love it. And like I like when I see it, I'm like, I know what that is. But like, no, I don't think I would paint my door to look like the TARDIS or anything. But I mean, I might get like a little notebook, but that's about
Okay.
as much fangirly I'll get.
Do you have a favorite Doctor?
Of course, David Tennant.
Okay.
he's the best Doctor. He just is. Anybody who says it's not David
Yeah.
Tennant are really talking about other things in the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with everything Lauren just said. I think it's a fantastic background show because not all the episodes are that great. I actually think the first episode of the reboot is one of the worst episodes in the entire thing with all the mannequins and stuff. But like, there are some really good episodes in it. I actually really like all the Christmas special stuff, especially with Matt Smith. But like, if you really want to break it down, David Tennant just is the best Doctor.
Why?
Matt Smith just generally has the best companions. Matt Smith generally has structured plot a little bit better.
Why is Tennant the best?
I can't explain it. He just
Just
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and like he's a fantastic actor, and like, I mean,
He
you're
really
giving-
sells it.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you have the Daleks, which have like a freaking whisk and a plunger, and he makes them terrifying. Like, yeah, you believe everything, and like, David Tennant also is such a huge nerd for. He loved Doctor Who and was such a big fan, and it translates to just. Yeah, he's amazing.
He's like, he just makes every second count on screen.
Yeah.
And
a
in a
great
show
actor.
that can be that silly, it speaks volumes. Like I think Matt Smith is the second best Doctor. I think when you get to second best, there are some arguments for some other ones. Other than some people somehow like the first reboot Doctor, I think he sucks, and them canning him was the right choice.
All right. For that, Josh, let's go for your topic for Lauren.
Okay, so for Lauren, I picked Blackbird because I love that show. I was just
amazing.
writing off that show. Lauren said she wanted something positive, and I was scrolling through, and I was like, I can't find anything. But I really want to talk more about this show, so I picked that show. And then she wanted to watch something happier, and Blackbird is not really happy at all. So she asked me to pick something different. So I was scrolling through once again, and came across this movie that I hadn't seen in such a long time. It's like this unknown thing. I've never met another person on planet Earth other than my family who's even heard of this movie, even though it's got a completely stacked cast, and that is Valiant. And it's the story of the pigeons of the Allies in World War II versus the hawks of the Axis in World War II. Very interestingly, like the pigeons talk and the hawks talk, and there's a hawk that's very clearly supposed to be like Hitler, and there's very clearly supposed to be. Again, it's weird. It's like Lauren will get into it. I could give it a couple of 2 cents into it, but it was more positive, and I remembered really liking it. Again, I hadn't seen it for a really long time. I did rewatch it to talk about it, but that was after I had Lauren watch it. So, Lauren, what did you think of Valiant?
It was way better than Blackbird. It was funny because he asked me this a little bit ago, and I was like, they have human eyelids. And he's like, they're pigeons. He's like, but their eyelids are freaking me out in this animation. But to go along with, like, the story, it was really funny. I remember there's this one part where, like, they captured this one pigeon, and, like, the bars are wider than the birds that they're caging them in. And so it's just so funny. But they get down to, like, mentioning a stacked cast. You have Ian McGregor is, like, the littlest pigeon, which is so funny to me because I'm just hearing Obi-Wan speaking through this pigeon. Because, like, it isn't a different voice, it's just Ewan McGregor. And so you have, like, him and his ragtag of buddies who want to be these heroes, and they go to go be. They have, like, this whole thing of, like, these buff pigeons, or, like, these,
bigger pigeons.
like, bigger pigeons, and they're like, I'm gonna go, like, serve my country, you know, like how they had, like, the World War II, like, everybody should sign up and join for the war. And so then you have this tiny little pigeon and, like, this studious pigeon, and, like, all these weird his weird friends and stuff go and try to become these carrier pigeons because they're all getting taken out by the hawks. So they finally are down to their little group, and they're like, okay, you guys are our last hopes. And they're like, yes, we can be, like, heroes. And there was, like, one that, it was just so funny. He has this whole thing of, like, he's like, I'm leaving, I can't go into the war, like, I'm deserting, and like, the very next scene he's back, and he's like, just kidding, I'm gonna help you guys. And then, oh, yeah, the little pigeon was always getting hurt, so he's going to the nurse, and so, of course, there's, like, this little romance with the nurse pigeon.
Not a pigeon, a dove.
A dove.
Yep.
That's right.
It's a dove.
Yeah, so the dove nurse. And then, anyway, so they end up going to try to send this message, which I thought it was funny. They get in the plane, and then they drop them down in parachutes. And I'm like, but you're birds. And the one pigeon's little package or whatever gets stuck in the airplane, and they think that he dies when it goes to the airplane. And I'm like, this whole time, this pigeon could just go and fly free. But, yeah, it just explodes, and then he's like, oh no, I was able to get out and able to use my parachute. And I'm like, once again, you have wings. So, but yeah, they had, like, then they go in and they save the one pigeon that was in the cage that he could obviously escape from anytime he wanted. And, like, of course, you have the Ian McGregor person gets his, he, like, swallows the
message.
The message.
Yeah.
And, like, at the end, like, finally makes it to the allies, and he like throws it up, and they're like, It was like a lot of grossness for an animation that they put on this thing, but then they finally got the letter, and his little ragtag group got celebrated and stuff, and of course the dove found him at the end. Oh, it was really funny because I remember thinking, I was like, oh, now all the little birds are gonna go after him, and he's like, sorry, but I'm taken, and goes over to the dove, and I was like, of course, I thought that was gonna happen. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was kind of what I was asking more of on the more uplifting part. And then, you had, was it Tim Curry was the Hitler bird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, the cast is genuinely,
It's
way too good for this movie.
Yeah, for that you've never seen. And it, like, the animation is like the first Toy Story.
Okay.
So it's 3D, where it's like you have the model but you don't really have details on the model. So that's why like the eyelids looked weird to me.
I just recently watched Toy Story again.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible.
Yeah. So it shows its age for the 3D. But honestly, like, the fluidity of like the animation was fine. But yeah, it was the early stages of 3D. But yeah, I can't remember the other. There's like so many. I was like looking at the cast, and it's like literally every single one was a well-known actor so now I can't remember any of the other ones but Ian McGregor and Tim Curry.
So what's the rating? To be honest, this doesn't sound that good to me.
I was just happy to have something that wasn't wrecking me emotionally. So would I watch it again? Maybe. But it's not high up there. I would say it's like a 7.
Okay.
So
Still.
So I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate,
okay.
just for the fun of it. I did end up rewatching this movie. The eyelids didn't bother me at all. Like, they look like pigeons. And honestly, they're the best looking part of this show, which
The eyelids?
the birds.
Oh.
The eyelids are just like...
In my mind, it looks as good as Toy Story 1.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, like, it looked good. On rewatch, it's like they're flying over some grassland, and it's like they literally did Windows XP, like, click that area's green, click that area's blue. That's all they did with, like, some of the background. So, did not live up to my expectations of how it looked. I haven't seen Toy Story 1 in quite a while, but pretty sure it's quite a bit worse than Toy Story 1.
Backgrounds, yes.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
pigeons,
models.
I think they actually put the work in. They do look really good. As for them jumping in the cages out of the plane, my argument to that, which is not valid, I fully acknowledge that this is not valid because the plane isn't flying that high, but like birds are limited by altitude. They can't just fly up forever. They often fly pretty low, actually, to the ground. But the problem is the plane is like getting shot by artillery and not that high off the ground to begin with. So like maybe a little bit of an argument there, but like they might need the cage for like 5 seconds. And to your point, like when the plane is going down, he's definitely hitting the lower altitude and can just fly out of there. So that's fair. It's not supposed to be that serious, and I actually think that that's the weirdest part of it, because you get to the end, and the end is like, there's this special medal that's only given to animals, and 6 went to dogs, and 8 went to horses, and 30 went to pigeons. And there's only 52 ever having been given out or whatever. And I was like, that was not the message I was getting from this movie at all. Like, Hawks were not hunting pigeons and holding them captive and torturing them and giving them truth serum.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
starts singing and being goofy, and I was like, that was just a weird twist at the end.
Yeah.
I understand that like you're doing this World War II thing, but was weird.
Yeah.
I still really liked it though. It is just kind of like a fun, silly childhood memory for me, so I'm very swayed. I acknowledge that quality is not the best, but like I would give it like an easy 7.5 because like I'm not easily going to be rewatching this all the time.
But you would.
But like if it was in a lineup against Black Panther, like I would go to Valiant so fast. I'd be like, very clearly, this is my choice. And like, I also think it's really underrated because, like I said, I haven't met anybody that's ever watched that or heard of it. And like, it's a fun, family-friendly little show, and it's not super long, and the dialogue is pretty good, and like it has that romance, but it's not forced or weird in any way. It's kind of just like there, and it's solid. And
Yeah. It felt like if you've ever seen basically any World War II movie that has to deal with like Fly Boys or what's the one with I can't think of what his name is now. But it's like the two brothers and they both like the same girl and they both fly planes.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah, it is Pearl Harbor. I feel like it has like those tones with like it hit all of the beats for like a World War II movie, and it was I think it's kind of a family movie because then you have like my dad who's like a history buff or whatever, you have like those little tie-ins, but like it wasn't like you said, it's not like true to it's not historically accurate.
like not even remotely. And like me as a history buff, honestly, my biggest problem with the history is they showed an Allied tank and it was like a kindergartner drew it and it kind of like drives across the background and I was like, that's not a tank! But I don't know. I still like it. It's a good fun watch.
Yeah, so I was very happy I watched it.
Good.
I'm glad you liked it.
All right, so now
Lauren.
we come to Austenland. I picked Austenland for Conlin because, and I told him he needed to watch it with his wife because you guys mentioned how you didn't like Jane Austen, right? And you didn't get it. And I was like, this is probably like the only Austen thing that I could think of that you would actually enjoy. So did you?
Okay, so I specifically started this podcast in the way where I said I picked something that would make her cry on purpose because I don't believe Lauren. I think she was pranking me. Because I watched the first half of this movie and I've got a friend, he doesn't like romance movies. None of them. He likes this movie. I texted him and I'm like, how the shit do you like this movie? I genuinely, truly thought I was getting pranked. Because I was like, this is awful. Not bad, like, awful.
Okay, time out. I want to point out Conlin's note on the document is, I'm watching this today. Good choice, Lauren. I'm so excited.
I legitimately was like, okay, let's go. I've heard great things. One of my employees, this is her favorite movie of all time. And I was like, how? So, what's her name? Usually I have the actor is listed from me. The big blonde girl who plays the exact same character in everything. She's Legally
Jennifer
Blonde.
Coolidge.
Yes. Jennifer Coolidge in Legally Blonde works for me. She's the exact same character in absolutely everything, and she doesn't work for me anywhere else. And in this, I was like, shut up. Holy crap. Your accent is atrocious. I want to die.
It's supposed to be.
I know, but I hated it. And I'm in this place, and I'm like, this is like watching Living in Hell. I am literally like watching Living in Hell, and I felt like I was being tortured while I watched the first half of this. I hated the first half of this movie. And so I'm like, I know that you're all better actors. The main actress is really, really good, and she's not great at the beginning of this movie. And then you give me weird movies to watch because you are Better Off Dead. Then I'm like, the part of this movie sucks. The part of this movie is brilliant. And then you get to the theater scene. The theater scene, all suddenly this movie changes, and I like it. I literally was like, I'm finishing this because I said I would. Otherwise, I would turn this off and I would burn it. And it would go on one of my least favorite movies. Like, I put it in my... It would go maybe in my top 20 least favorite. Like, I hated the first half of this movie. And then that scene happens, and Jennifer Coolidge is like, my big ass. And I literally laughed out loud, and I was like, I am ashamed of myself. Because that shouldn't have been funny, but it was funny. And they're screwing up this stage production, this horrible, awful stage production. And I'm laughing the entire time. And I'm like, what is going on? I literally sat back in my seat and I'm like, my wife left. She didn't really like it either. She stopped watching it.
Oh.
And I was like, I just said it was horrible. I was like, it's okay if you go. I have to watch it. It's fine. And no, I'm having a good time. And then the romance becomes more fulfilling. It's like everyone turned on their acting and figured out how to act. And I don't get it. And I really like it's an obvious twist because the whole idea, you're kind of weirdly watching a show about like a woman's version of a strip club. Because the guy goes to a strip club to be like, all hot women. And they're going to this place to be like, oh, hot men, and then apparently make out with them. You're basically watching like a woman's version of a strip club. That's what I think this movie is. And so I am watching this woman's version of a strip club, and then all of a sudden I'm like buying into the romance. And you have this idea of like escaping to a fantasy land, and that you shouldn't escape to a fantasy land. You should want something real in your life. And I was like, that is a really great idea. Where the crap did that come from in this terrible movie? How is this good? So they're having this romance, and she's having this dream that she's had her entire life to be able to go and be in a Jane Austen type of novel, live that, do the elevated phrasing, speak a certain way, live that kind of life. And she's getting caught up in that. And she has this moment where she's realizing that all of these other women that are with her aren't realizing that it's fake. They're too drawn in. And I'm like, this is cool. I like this. I like this a lot. Because people do that. That is a very common thing. That is not something I see in a lot of shows that is done particularly well. And I think it's done very well in this. And you have these two women that are just drawn into this alternate world. And she gets drawn into the alternate world. And I get drawn into the alternate world because I genuinely believe Horse Stable Boy is actually a good dude. I bought that. It got me hook, line, and sinker. And when it found out that he's just the actor, I was like, that was great. Mm-hmm. Legitimately super well done. And there's always in the rom-com movies, the guy comes after some horrible event and he tells why he should be with her. Like he has that, I love you, you're special to me, I care about you, let's give this a try, it's worth it. And those lines are written, it's a super common trope. The actor who does the Darcy role is incredible in those lines. I always call it cusicles when something is ever I actually find cute because I don't usually. I was like, this is freaking adorable. And it's very, very well written. It makes you want to root for this couple. You don't even spend that much time with them, to be completely honest. By the end of the movie, I'm wanting to see more of this couple, which is mind-boggling to me. And it's very cute, and you want them to succeed, and it feels authentic, and it feels real, and I don't understand it. I'm talking with a lot of passion about how good I think the end of this movie is. I think the first half of this movie, I cannot explain enough how much I hated the first half of this movie. But the second half of this movie is brilliant. And I don't know what to give a rating to this, because I never, ever, ever want to see the first half of this movie ever again as long as I live.
I was just about to ask if you would rewatch it and see if you hated the first
If
half.
I give it the full movie, I have to give it like a 4. Because I just have to watch through that first hellish thing. But the second half is legitimately like an 8 or an 8.5. I think it's great.
It's funny because you mentioned that your coworker, it's like one of her favorite movies. I'm like, this makes my top 10. So, I think I love Jennifer Coolidge in this. I think she's so freaking funny.
I think I can see that, and that's literally when I was talking to my coworker about this. I was like, if Jennifer Coolidge works for you, I can see this movie being more enjoyable. Like, I can understand that. If she doesn't work for you, like she didn't work for me until the theater scene for some reason, then it's not going to work for you.
I'm like, you're probably the first person that I know that has had like such a strong opinion about the first half and not liking it. Because usually it's funny because I remember when I watched it with like a whole bunch of people in a cabin, and people were like, oh yeah, this is a great movie. And I remember watching it and being like, okay, I'm not understanding it. Maybe I need to know Jane Austen. But as soon as it got to, I think what clicked for me was when they had to bring in, I'm trying to remember the beats of the story. I think it was when she got her phone and they were gonna send her away, and then they're like, oh, actually the one girl claims it, but it was Darcy who told her to go get that phone. And when I started realizing what the real romance was, because I was like, I thought that the stable hand was the real romance too. And then,
just for the record, I didn't. I called it from a mile away.
And I was like, that's lame. I was like, I don't really think she should. I'm like, that's kind of a lame. But then when they flipped it, I was like, oh, thank goodness, yes. But and then when she left Darcy because at the end of this whole thing, everybody ends up getting engaged to the actor or whatever. And when Darcy was like, actually, I need to tell you something, she's like, oh, I didn't know this is how I feel at this bit. I want something real. And then she goes to the person who actually was acting to like her. I was like, no, she better not. I thought that was going to be the ending, where she went back with him. And I was like, no! But yeah, I really like when he also shows up to her house. And then she's like, no, this is my dream. That's not what's supposed to happen. He's like, wait, no. And he flips it, and he's like, have you ever thought maybe you were my dream? And so
great.
Yeah, it's so funny because
fantastic.
Whenever me and Ellie watch it, we always squeal at that part, but it's fine. I love this movie. I watch it probably once a year.
And the thing is, some of those lines at the end, if you weren't such a good actor, they could come off cheesy.
Oh, yeah.
Super cheesy. But they work really, really, surprisingly well.
Yeah, they deliver it very well.
And the other thing I didn't love about the end, but I kind of just forgave it, is I don't feel like Austenland is ran very well. But all of a sudden, you had this incredible genius plan that got me. And I'm like, that required a ridiculous amount of extremely well planning. So this is did you put your whole planning budget into just this? Because the rest of this is not very well run. But I kind of just forgave that. I don't know. You've had 2 movies where I'm like, I have no idea what rating to give this movie.
I just like to confuse you, I guess.
I guess so. Why do you like this movie so much?
I think that the humor hits for me, and I do really like the love interest of Darcy, because it's funny because like it's making fun of Jane Austen, but then also nailing Jane Austen, like because his character is Darcy, like that's what his character is, and so it ends up being like the Pride and Prejudice, but it's really a fun twist where they're kind of like making fun of it, but at the same time they're still doing the storyline of Jane Austen. Yeah, I think, yeah, because I like Jennifer Coolidge. She works for me. That also had, oh, I'm trying to think of what that she plays a prairie doctor. Oh, what's her name?
We were literally just talking about this show.
Dr. Quinn,
Medicine Woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's the person who's running Austenland. It has a pretty good cast. And yeah, I think the jokes hit me like when they're like explaining it to her and they're like, this is Princess Sparkles. He likes to do walks on the beach or whatever. Like, I don't know. I just everything hit for me. I do not understand why you hate the beginning.
I'm right there with you. I don't understand hating the beginning either. It's not even that long of a movie to have like two distinct parts.
It felt like an eternity.
Because I'm like trying to think of if it was slow or...
To be fair, like in Colin's defense, if he doesn't like Jennifer Coolidge, like she's what carries the first half, right? I think what makes this movie so great is the fact that it makes fun of Jane Austen while telling Jane Austen in a really honorable, honest way. But like the first half is like, okay, I'm getting like, can we move this along? And then they give Jennifer Coolidge, and she gives a great one-liner that carries you through to the next little bit. Like,
yeah.
you're criticizing that like they felt like really bad actors and then became good actors, but like that's part of the plot of the movie. Is right. They were trying to put on masks and pretend to be things, and then becoming themselves and realizing that's not the way to live life, right? It's got a great message about living in this fantasy or thinking, the grass is greener on the other side. The comedy's really great. It's not my favorite Jennifer Coolidge thing because there's always a Cinderella story, and that's just the best.
I know.
But like, is this my favorite movie of all time? Is it top 10? No. Do I understand why it would be for Lauren? Yeah, because like it goes from a really solid comedy, and right when that comedy is starting to like dry out, and you're like, okay, can we move on? It becomes this like genuinely really great, honest love romance movie, and like, what else does that? Like nothing. Like this hits my kind of beat. My favorite movie of all time is The Princess Bride. What does it do? It makes fun of the fantasy and it makes fun of romance, and while still telling the romance. What do I think is a really underrated movie? Enchanted. It's just the same thing. Like,
yeah,
this is a really great movie, and is it my personal favorite? No. But like, am I genuinely really happy I watched this movie? Yes. Would I rather watch Black Panther or Austenland? Not even close.
Yeah, you're on an island.
Like I said, I have this friend who literally doesn't like romance movies, and he likes this movie. I don't know. I struggle. That's the first half of the movie.
I like it. The dinner scene, I think, is freaking hilarious. When I say that I want to walk my dog, I say go for a turnabout in the garden, because he doesn't like put all of those words together to realize that I want to take him for a WALP. So
yeah, I am I glad I watched? I don't know, because I think the end is really good.
Did your wife watch the end?
No, I'm actually gonna make her watch the end.
You're like,
Because
since I tortured you the first.
She like left, and then like 5 minutes passed, and then all of a sudden they got good.
Because I thought, because she likes Jane Austen, right? Like she likes Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought she would like it. But yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think this is the best version of Pride and Prejudice.
What about Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
that's the only one I haven't seen, but I have seen every other version of that excruciatingly horrible torture.
I do. I think I have that movie actually.
Which one? Because there's the
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of different.
I haven't seen any of the other Pride and Prejudice. I've only seen.
That is very surprising to me. How much you like this show? I'm shocked at that.
I wasn't ever really into Jane Austen. I think the only other thing that I've watched that is kind of like in that realm is North and South.
Okay.
I like that one. It's very slow though.
Nice.
Very slow. That's a good one.
Starstruck?
Hmm.
Okay. I thought that was one of your favorite movies.
Stardust? Oh yeah, I was like, that's one of my favorites, yeah.
Stardust is great.
Oh, Stardust.
Legitimately fantastic.
Okay.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
It's just so good.
I don't know that it would make like my top 10 anymore, but it is definitely up there.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you don't like that one more because
it's Pride and Prejudice.
It feels very.
Pride and Prejudice. I agree.
No, it's always felt very your favorite movie. You're literally just talking about Princess Bride.
Nope, not
I've
at all.
always felt it.
It is just a Pride and Prejudice story with some really stupid stuff.
If that's Pride and Prejudice, that's my favorite Pride and Prejudice. Or Zombies. I don't know. I like both of those.
I was gonna say, I think I also have that book, but I didn't like the book as much as I liked the movie, which is funny.
Okay.
Apparently, there's a book of this too. Austenland.
Oh.
And when I was reading reviews, the reviewers all liked the movie better than the book, and I was like, I'm not going to read the book.
You'll be the one that's like, I love the book. The book's way better than the movie.
The first half of the book didn't even have Jennifer Coolidge in it.
You're like, the first half of the book I loved. The ending of the book sucked.
Anyway, guys, that's going to be our episode. Thank you for watching. If you like Austenland, please tell me why. Like, tell me why I'm wrong. I would love to hear
Please
that.
do. I want as many comments telling Conlon he's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even mad that you didn't like it. I'm mad that you said it was worse than Black Panther.
The first half, yeah, definitely.
No way. That's insane.
For sure. When I mean, I felt
Black
like
Panther doesn't even have Jennifer Coolidge.
Wakanda forever.
I really want to do an AI and make her say that. That's so funny. Yes, for sure. Literally, like, I mean it when I was like, she pulled a prank on me and she wanted to torture me. That's literally what my brain thought. If we would have written notes, I would have written that note.
Just make the argument. Make Conlon give it a 5.5. That's all I'm asking for.
5.1.
He's never been so passionate about a romance before, ever.
I'm pretty passionate about a couple romance.
About how much you hate The Notebook. You've never been so passionately in favor of a romance before.
My favorite one, which for some reason I'm not thinking of right now, I've talked pretty passionate about that.
I have never heard you talk this passionately, except about how much you hate The Notebook, or like Star Wars, or like The Hobbit. Like,
Okay, I just had more passion of hate, I guess. I had to work on that, guys. What do you hate? I want to know.
Viewers, let's have Conlon. You guys get to pick Conlon's topics for next week. Whatever comments we get. use Austenland as your guide and things that you want him to watch. Like, I would want him to watch the 4.5-hour BBC version of Pride and Prejudice, and then tell me how bad Austenland is.
I take on that challenge. I really do. You know what? I will take on that challenge. I'm not gonna watch it in 1 week. I probably will break it up. Gonna be honest, but I'll take on the challenge. I'll watch it.
Okay.
All right. If you've watched Your Lie in April and you finished it, tell us what you think. If you haven't finished it, then finish it, because you shouldn't be like Lauren. She's a bad example. And Josh, you should watch more Studio Ghibli. I think that's where we're gonna leave it off, because there's a lot of good Ghibli.
Right.
Good Ghibli, good whatever you want to call it.
Ghibli.
Ghibli. And that's it, guys. Thanks. See ya.